Hey guys, I'm just going to do a quick review about what was learned in chapter 6 of the accounting book. Pretty sure it's chapter 6. Yeah. So the worksheet. All the answers to the worksheet or steps to the worksheet are in your book in the cream colored pages. So I'm just going to go over how we did that prior to me leaving. Again, this is taken from Century 21 Accounting Multicolumn Journal, so none of this information is mine. So first off, the top heading of a worksheet is who, what, when. Worksheets are always prepared for the month ended. So you never write just January 31st, you never write month January 31st, you always write for the month ended. And remember, it's who, what, and when. Our first step in preparing our worksheet is just copying over this information from wherever it's given to us. Almost all the time, the textbook will provide us this information when we prepare the trial balance column of a worksheet. So again, we just copy over that information, the account title and whether it's a debit or a credit in that account. Same thing. So we go all the way down to accounts payable and we do capital and drawing, and then the income summary is always left blank. We've always left this blank. This is going to be a closing account that we learn in the next chapter. So the next video, I will discuss the income summary and how we do those closing trials, but for now, I'm just showing you how we do the trial balance. Once we copy all those numbers over, we just add them up down here. Make sure we prove and rule. Ruling is the one line and double lines when they equal. We put one line because we're totaling the column, added it up, and they always should equal. If they don't, you did copy work wrong. Something happened with your copy work. The next step is preparing those adjustment entries. So we take whatever the information that they gave to us is to find this adjustment. So in the textbook, it probably said something about what the entry is. I can't find it right now, but I'm going to show you the next page right here to explain that. So again, it probably said in the textbook, supplies on hand was $90. I've told you this in class. When it says supplies on hand, that means you have that amount. You have that exact amount as of January 31st. So you want to write that in right away. Supplies on hand, $90. Probably says amount of prepaid insurance or amount of insurance. And that number here for this example was $750. So you write those two numbers down and then it's math. You have to do some math. So we had $90 of supplies on hand, $750 worth of insurance, and now we have to do $620 minus the 90 to get our adjustment entry of $530. Same thing here. We took the $900 minus how much we had left on hand to say, okay, we have $150 left over. Once we know these two entries, once we did that math, then we can copy them down to the debit side. They will always be credits because we used this up. The normal balance of supplies is $620. It's a debit. That's the normal balance of a supplies account, debit. So if we used it, we show it on the credit side. It's being used. Normal balance side always means that it increases. So if it's always increasing on the debit side, then it's decreasing on the credit side, and we use that up. Same thing here, we used that up. Normal balance of prepaid insurance is the debit. So then we just have to copy it over down because debits always have to equal credits, and this is our adjustment column. So first we take the $530, we always put that little a right there, and we copy it down to supplies expense. So we have supplies expense, just copy it down. Same thing with here, we have insurance, we copy it down to insurance expense. I'll even show it on this one where it's a little bit more bolder. we copied these down to the correlating account titles because those are expenses to us. We used that up. $530 was used up for supplies. So then we total enroll those columns, which they do for you. They added these two together, 680, added these two together, 680. They always need to equal. They ruled it, double ruled it. From there, again, it's copy work. So we already have figured out these two numbers because the problem gave it to us, and we just copy over debit, 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 debit. We just copy them all over. This is a credit, we copy it over. Credit, credit, credit. Then we copy over the drawing account. The balance sheet section is done. Remember, the second you see income summary, that's an income statement account. So on the next page, they copy over the income statement account. So 582, and then the rest are expenses. Look how this information is copied. 150 is a debit. So this 150 is a debit. Don't rush to do this. A lot of you will rush to do it and copy it over in the credit column. It is not a credit. Right here, it shows it in the debit column. So you want to copy over column by column. So that's accurate, accurate, accurate. 150 is the debit, and then it's 530 for the debit as well. So here you can see sales and expenses. So on the next section, they total and rule each of the income statement and balance sheet columns. So this is the addition of all those. That's just brought down. This is the addition of all the debits and the additions of the credits. You want to total each column. It's just what we do. Then we see that $2,658 in expenses, $5,820 for the credit, and then this balance of balance sheet debits and this balance of balance sheet credits added. Now this is the step that confuses most of you. We want to find the net income on this sheet. So we look in our income statement accounts because only in the income statement accounts do we have the revenues and the expenses. That's it. That's just standard practice. Income statement accounts are revenues and expenses. Balance sheet accounts are exactly the accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, owner's equity. So we take our revenue, always revenue minus expenses. So we found that $3,162 was left when we take our revenue minus our expenses. And we put it on the left side, on the debit side, to make the account balances equal. 5,820 equals 5,820. Good. Double line, double rule that. Single rule it first to say we added, double rule it when it's equal. Then all we do is take this number and put it over there on the credit side. Whatever side you do this to, you do the opposite over here. These should equal. If you do not get something to equal, your math is almost 95% wrong. Like I could tell you that it's probably because of your math or you copied wrong. This is a strategic process and you have to go slow. It's just copy work. And you want to make sure that you're copying it accurately and adding correctly when you use the calculator, or else they're not going to equal. So you can go ahead and practice doing one of those on your own for chapter 6. And rewatch this video if you have any other questions. This also walks you through every step that you need to do in order to complete the final worksheet. Now remember, from the worksheet, we prepare the income statement and balance sheet. So these need to be accurate so you can create 2 financial statements with it. Again, all this content was taken from Century 21 Accounting, and I wish you the best of luck.